Back again for the finals of Gen 6 November 24
Yeah,
draft.
yeah, this is our season 1 of Gen 6, as I'm dubbing the next one season 2. Differentiate, yes. Gotta say, I'm surprised to see these two going up against each other because these are both of our number 2 seeds entering into our tournament.
Yeah, and interesting interaction here between Zusiman, aka Olympus Monstrocities, and Mammox45, aka Reptar's Desert Adventure. Let's see who's slower, and it is the Tyranitar, so the Sandstream will overwrite the faster Drizzle, which is
Weather
massive.
Wars, baby!
Here comes Weather Wars. Now, Zusimon will need to get a full swap to be able to get back to the Polytoad. And Mammox 45, this is a good matchup. Scald's not going to hit hard, but a big burn, and that is crushing. Because, oh my god, but some good RNG back. You got to get off your Tyranitar quick here to your Blissey so you can get that burn off.
Same for the Polytoad. In Weather Wars, I was valuing both of these so much.
The rest there to be able to heal up, that's some tech. And getting the Mega Evolve off. Knockoff is not good into Swampert. I mean, I don't know what that was about, but maybe he was expecting something else there because this is the Mega. No no rain, so but it doesn't matter. And there's the Will-O-Wisp, which is backbreaking into the Swampert. Looking at Zusimon's team, he doesn't have a heal beller. That's going to be really hard.
Yeah, I gotta say, these are pretty big mistakes trying to use that waterfall without having the buff from the drizzle. The big thing about that waterfall is that it gets the damage buff from the drizzle as well as the speed buff going.
Here's Tentacruel. Will he just press Whirlwind? No, he decides to swap to Tyranitar to get rid of the weather, which is nice. No Rain Dish. However, the Black Sludge will proc. He never got to the Blissey. He needs to get to the Blissey quickly. Has to get this burn off the Tyranitar because he's not going to do any damage, as well as it puts a clock on his Sandstreamer.
Interesting tech with the Tentacruel, possibly expecting the Blissey. It does have a special attacking move that guarantees lowering special defense. But no, he's just going to try and reset the weather yet again. The weather wars continue. Rotate, rotate.
And I think this is your turn right here on the Blissey to get rid of the burn. And he swaps immediately to the Kingdra, but no, he's just going to leave the burn on. And at this point, you go to the over to your Blissey again for sure. There's Waterfall, which is a split move, but you see how well Blissey took that because of its HP pool.
Yeah, we saw the Kingdra use the waterfall against me as a higher accuracy split attacking move. I don't know if I love that. I like to see it in the full special attack. But these players were playing to the game two potential as well here with those kinds of decisions. There's the heal bell going to be able to remove that burn.
And just a
I'd almost like to
reminder,
see him be a little greedy and go for a wish and try and wish pass to the Tyranitar.
no, I think that you got to go to Tyranitar right here. And no, he decides to toss, which is going to be not great because the Rain Dish will just heal most of that back up. Yeah, I would have liked to see the T-Tar there. Willing to just leave him out here to get the Thunder Wave onto the Tentacruel. Pretty solid to get that on there because the Toxic you can just remove again with the Heal Bell. And he's going full Blissey here. But the Rapid Spin, allowing him to get those rocks out of there, is critical for him to get his Genies going.
And here we go, going for the wish pass on the Reptar, eating that acid spray, but losing some special defense from it. That's going to be Zeusimon's plan with that Tentacruels to just chip away at that special defense and just keep the rain up so that he can keep healing off the double heal proc. And a
Oh, a
big
crit!
crit!
Polytoad has been asleep that whole time. You don't really need him to be awake, but that crit just going through all of his defense and anything that he had there with the super effective move wasn't burned. got big damage there. Misses with the Hydro Pump, wouldn't have done a lot of damage into the Blissey, but losing the Politoed there is critical. Now you just get to go back to Reptar and get rid of this weather.
And Chicken here is who we've seen Zeusamon use as his backup setter. Going immediately into him may be a bit of a good play by Mammox to not go into it immediately. The Tyranitar, that is, allowing this rain to just kind of burn out naturally a bit. The Sableye will be a great Pokemon for just burning the turns if he wants to do it naturally that way.
It is true, however, looking at Zusamon's team, the Pokemon that he has left, Thundurus, Tornadus, and Tentacruel have, the ability to heal themselves in certain ways. Hurricane coming in, special attacking, knockoff on the chicken, gets rid of the life orb. That'll probably allow him to survive another hurricane there to be able to get a recover.
I'd also be considering going straight back into the T-Tar here to kind of remove the accuracy from that Hurricane. Zeusamon switching it around as well.
Yeah, and Sandstream getting rid of the rain. Thundurus, he could have superpower, which could just take Reptar out immediately here. Genies can just randomly have that, so if Zusimon has some of that odd coverage moves, but a lot of times on these genies you run knockoff, so deciding to press Volt Switch instead of knockoff and maybe just wants to get that momentum back by swapping over to what,
Yeah,
Tentacruel?
I wouldn't be surprised if we see the other Genie come back in, if we just see a Therian to proc the Regenerator. But no, yeah, going into the Tentacruel, gonna just try and deal with this thing directly, but that Stone Edge hits hard.
Yeah, and a one paralysis proc and a lucky Stone Edge, and that'll be the end of Tentacruel. You don't really have much, but there's the Stone Edge miss. Sucks with Stone Edge, and Toxic is what he needed to force out this T-Tar. You want to get this T-Tar out of here so you can get him back in to reset the Sandstorm in a couple turns. But now that the Toxic's on there, I mean, you're being a little risky here with him. So just be careful.
It's possibly a bit of the mind games going on here, where Mammox may feel like he can lose the Tyranitar since he's killed the Politoed at this point, but wisely making the swap there, just reserving it.
Yeah, see, I think you just can immediately go back to the T-Tar here if you want to, or just take your free heal bell. Um, we'll probably see a Toxic come out of this Tentacruel, or maybe he just goes for some damage here, or the swap here to get to the chicken. And chicken does have knockoff. We've seen him use it a couple times to get rid of some pesky items, and leftovers is pretty huge on the Blissey. So going to
Chicken,
T-Tar,
chicken could
oh,
rain dance. There it is.
he presses the rain dance, but will he knock off right here? That's kind of the question.
I think he knows he needs to get into one of his swift swimmers at this point while the T-Tar is out and can't reset it. Try and get a turn of pressure out. Could also just be off a U-turn from chicken, but no, just hard swapping.
Oh, big hit.
Oh,
My issue with getting a Swift Swimmer out, particularly the Kingdra, he's got to press Waterfall because you risk not killing the T-Tar because you didn't knock it off. So let's see what he presses. Yeah, he presses Waterfall. It does over half the damage, but Life Orb, it loses its health on the Life Orb, killing itself. Blissey is almost at half HP. He didn't get knocked off either on that previous turn. And
it's got to be the Swampert here.
yeah, that's your revenge killer in this situation. We haven't seen Skarmory yet. Skarmory is just, the perfect mon to take on that Swampert. So pretty obvious swap there if you're Mammox, and I think Zusimon knows that. He's trying to think if he has any other plays where he can get at this Blissey right here. He needs to press knockoff on it, and it could just take it down right there. But he is running the special attack version of Tornadus T and Thunderous T.
That is a great point. He can try and get some value out of his Therian still, try and break down Mammox's team a bit more. I just think when you're this far behind at this point, you got to go for the risky plays and you got to hope that Swampert can kill something. And that's where I had totally forgot that it got burned at the beginning of this match.
Yeah, that's just backbreaking. I forgot as well. And just an easy swap to Skarmory here. I mean, yeah, you'd like to get rid of the rain, but it doesn't matter if it's fast. Skarmory is just perfect. So yeah, there's the hit. 16% back. The burn with another 13%. And Swampert is pretty much dead here, so he'll get a last waterfall. We'll see a roost out of Mammox. Oh, but the
Oh, the
flinch
flinch.
again. So that's just sucks there for Mammox, but this is where you can get back to your T-Tar.
I will say a kill on the Skarmory. No, he does not risk it. That would have been a huge mind game. But there's the knockoff, removing the Assault Vest.
That is something. It's not nothing because you need to be able to press moves like, geez, I don't even know what he can do against this thing. I guess he could press Thunder or Volt Switch, but this is gonna be tough. Mammox 45, the CTO still has all six of his Mon, and Zeusamon is down to only three.
Yeah, as well as a lot of health on many of those Mon. Reptar just staying in, able to just try and get damage out. The Tentacruel beat up, taking the Stone Edge and just dying.
Yeah,
I
and
think the big call is how does game 2 start for them? They've seen the interaction of the double weathers off the rip. How do either of these players change their strategy and adjust?
yeah, if you're Mammox, I mean, at the start, you got to imagine he's just gonna go with T-Tar to lead off. I mean, yeah, he could be lead with the Sableye, but I don't really like that. I think that just getting the Sandstorm going is really good. Um, Not a whole lot you can really do in this situation. There's the substitute. Will we see Sludge Wave knock off into the sub? Won't get rid of the item and doesn't even kill the sub. So this
Yeah,
is going to be a short rest of the game, and Outrage will be coming shortly after he presses Swords Dance once.
I believe we're going to see the Tornadus Therian at the start there. It's not the worst matchup into Garchomp being able to threaten with the possibility of superpower. It really depends on the move pool that Zeusamon has on this thing. We do lock in move pools at the start.
Well, we've seen Knockoff, we've seen Hurricane, we've seen Rain Dance, and I would guess probably like U-Turn or Volt Switch or, you
We've
know,
also seen him hard swap, so I do not believe it's the U-turn because of that.
right, right.
Against it was against the Tyranitar too, who I would have liked to have seen a U-turn against. There's the confusion proc off the Hurricane. Tyranitar just killing himself.
And his first Mon killed. Tornadus is the regenerator, so he's not going to be carrying Roost in most situations. He's a little too soft for that. There's the kill, and we're going to game two.
Yeah, the big question remains, is it gonna be superpower? Is it gonna be U-turn to proc that regenerator? Or is it neither of those and it's something completely different, possibly something to counter out my team?
I would guess U-turn. I mean, if it was superpower, he would have used it when that he was facing off against that Tyranitar several times, or gotten an advantageous swap to press superpower into it, because you will outspeed with the chicken. So I would guess probably not the superpower.
We'll have to see going into game 2. How did the leads change up? How did they build?
Alrighty. Going into the next game, it's all about the start here because previously you can't start off the same way if you're Zusimon. Getting your weather just completely canceled out. I mean, you even got a burn with your Scald on the Politoed on the Tyranitar, and you still just lost that first matchup even with a burn. So just really tough. Yeah, and Mammox deciding to lead with the Sableye to get his Mega Evolution off. Tentacruel we saw it with some water, the water attacking move. So probably just going to see him press that if he's, going to leave it out at all. He may just immediately go for the swap because the
Yeah, it's
Sableye will Mega Evolve.
gonna be the Scald. It's got the acid spray that we see right there. Oh, and that means that the Sableye is doing the knockoff. Gonna go ahead and remove that black sludge and cut into that Tentacruel's healing. That's gotta be a really big play off the start.
Yeah, that's tough. Will-O-Wisp hitting the Politoed, not a huge deal. We saw the Politoed with rest, so it will be able to heal itself back up. Uh, Sableye, a defensive wall, but allowing the swap there straight to the Tyranitar to get rid of the Drizzle. And even with Waterfall here, I like the Tyranitar matchup. So, wow, double swap back to the Politoed. There's the Skarmory, which is interesting here. Maybe wanting to get Stealth Rocks, but I don't really think that you can leave it out. Oh, he chooses to leave it out and risky on the Stealth Rocks, but now you can just swap straight to T-Tar. Oh no, deciding to go with the Garchomp and critting on that, kicking off the leftovers. That's pretty big here. Let's see if he has anything, to be able to threaten this thing out. Knockoff won't hit very hard now, but he could have something like Sludge Wave or maybe Hidden Power.
We know he's got the poison attack. He used that against my Clefable. We know he's got the Volt Switch, which won't work against the Garchomp. We know he's got the knockoff, which, as you've just said, will not work great against the Garchomp.
And he has Thunder. So, yeah, this is a swap. So let's see if he press sub here. No, he just presses Outrage, understanding that the damage will be big, but he could lose the Chomp here to a really powerful Waterfall, and or a Flinch, I guess, because he's now locked into Outrage. Oh, and he's still faster, and it crits anyways. Just huge. That's like the one downside to Mega Swampert is he's not always faster. So Garchomp taking it down. Here's another Swift Swimmer. This one will be faster. Um,
I gotta say, what happened there is the Garchomp or the Swampert did not have its Mega Evolution. It did not have its Swift Swim active. It uses the speed at the beginning of the turn to determine turn order. Then the Mega Evolution goes off. Then you go into how it's resolved.
yeah, yeah. Really tough interaction. However, that Drizzle there resets, but a crit on the Stone Edge just completely crushes the Politoed. This is going to be really tough for Zusimon. Now he has to manage this with rapid spinning away those Stealth Rocks if he can, because his Rain Dancer is a Mon that gets hit really hard by Stealth Rocks.
And we know that Rapid Spin is sitting on the Tentacruel.
And yeah, back to the T-Tar. And Hydro Pump hits pretty hard on the T-Tar there because of the stab there with the Kingdra high special attack. And Reptar was also knocked off earlier, I think. So um, that could be what's happening here. Hydro Pump hitting it again really, really hard. Stone Edge critting there again. And this is a great game for the CTO here.
God, the Stone Edge hits and crits have been very good for him. We've definitely seen a couple misses. He hasn't been perfect with it, but whew, it's been closing it out well.
Oh man, yeah, this is gonna be really hard for Zusimon. There's Stealth Rocks in play. The spin blocker in Sableye prevents you from getting him off the board. I mean, this is just gonna be really hard to come back from.
Yeah, but at the same time, oh, the rapid spin immunity. It appears he is tilted into focusing on the strategy too much to focus on the situation.
Yeah, and there's a magic bounce on the Toxic. Yeah, he's just yeah, this is gonna be really hard for Zusimon.
Yeah,
Probably.
when looking at his team, I was noticing it. There's not a ton of healing. There's no clerics. Definitely a downside to having to rebuild his team once the season had begun. Mammoth's doing a much better job than I did with the beefiness of his team of sticking those status effects across the board and then just taking advantage of it.
And here comes the genies to get crushed by Stealth Rocks. Um, Blissey is a perfect counter here to this Thunderous. Decides to swap to Skarmory. The Skarmory had already, that was the previous game. Kicks the Rocky Helmet away, but still does very little damage. Swaps to the Reptar, and Thunder misses. Just backbreaking there. You really needed that Thunder there if you were going to take out the T-Tar.
And I believe Mammox was throwing it out to throw it away and just let the chip damage add up. But here he's saving it for one more sandstorm.
There's Chicken. Let's see if he presses Rain Dance and tries to start setting up. He does. Presses the Rain Dance. Will-O-Wisp landing. He does have Regenerator, but I don't think you can risk it. You have to just go ahead and go for some damage here. Protect. That's the one time that Protect is better in this situation when you have your Will-O-Wisp ticking on a really flimsy Mon, but Sandstream resetting there, no more, and the
And a miss
Hurricane
from the
just
hurricane.
misses.
The sand just getting in that bird's eyes. The rain being removed, which gives it that perfect accuracy.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye, and Stone Edge is down. The Tornadus T. Here comes Thunderous T. Gets a quarter of his HP crushed. It doesn't have any healing moves here. Swaps over to the Heat Ran. Knockoff will kick away the leftovers, but this Heat Ran can come in here and just press Flash Cannon or one of its other moves here. Oh, a big paralysis there, but lands the Magma Storm, takes it down, and Mammox 45 is the winner of Season 1.